One of the hidden burdens of competence is that competence attracts demand. The more capable a woman is, the more likely others are to look to her, rely on her, and assign more to her. At first, that can feel validating. It can feel like recognition. It can feel like trust. But over time, it can create one of the most costly patterns that many high-achieving women face. They become the default carrier of too much. In this video, I want to talk about why highly competent women often end up carrying more than they should, why this pattern is so misunderstood, and why breaking it is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of wisdom. Highly competent women often share a number of qualities. They are conscientious, they are observant, they care about standards, they are proactive. They notice problems early and very often solve those problems before they become larger. These are strengths, important strengths. But these same strengths can make it very easy for others to assume that she should carry more. If she notices it, she handles it. If she can solve it, she solves it. If something is at risk, she steps in. If someone else drops the ball, she compensates. Over time, this creates a role that becomes so familiar that it almost disappears into the background. She becomes the woman who absorbs complexity. And because she often does it well, the pattern becomes reinforced. People trust her. People appreciate her. People rely on her. But what often goes unexamined is whether that pattern is wise or simply expensive. One reason why this pattern tends to be so misunderstood is because often it is rewarded. A highly competent woman may be praised for her resilience. She may be admired for her work ethic. She may be respected for how much she can handle. She may even take pride in being the one that others can count on. And so the pattern doesn't necessarily feel problematic at first. It can feel like excellence. It can feel like leadership. It can feel like value. But over time, carrying too much can begin to distort things. The woman may confuse over-functioning with responsibility. She may confuse the constant stepping in for leadership. She may start confusing exhaustion with commitment. And because the outside world often rewards this behavior, she may not immediately recognize its internal cost. This is why some women do not realize how much they have been carrying until they become depleted, resentful, disconnected from themselves, or simply tired in a way that rest alone cannot resolve, cannot help. The pattern is not only external. Internal habits often reinforce it. Many high-achieving women have been rewarded for overfunctioning for so long that they associate carrying more with being valuable. They may feel guilty when they step back. They may worry that saying no will disappoint people. They may fear that if they stop compensating, something important will be missed or fall apart. They may interpret discernment as selfishness. And so they continue, not always because someone is forcing them, but because the pattern has become part of how they maintain standards, preserve identity, and protect outcomes. This matters because a woman can become so accustomed to over-carrying that it begins to feel normal. And when something feels normal, it's that much more difficult to start questioning it. But normal is not always healthy, and familiar is not always wise. This is where the important distinction needs to be made. Overcarrying is not the same as leadership. A woman can be excellent without absorbing every problem in sight. She can be responsible without becoming responsible for everything. She can care deeply without extending herself into depletion. True leadership includes judgment. It includes prioritization. It includes boundaries. It includes understanding what should not belong to you. Leadership is not simply about how much you are capable of holding. It is also about what you consciously decline to hold, because doing so would distort your role, your energy, or reinforce an unhealthy dynamic. That is not selfishness, that is maturity, that is wisdom. And for many high-achieving women, that is one of the most important shifts that they can make. So what needs to change? A highly competent woman needs to start asking more discerning questions. Not only can I handle this, but also, is this actually mine to carry? What pattern am I reinforcing when I keep stepping in? Am I solving this because it's wise? Or because I am uncomfortable letting it remain unsolved? What is the cost of always being the one who compensates? What would stronger leadership look like here? These questions matter because the goal is not to become less committed. The goal is to become more selective, more strategic, and more honest about the cost of always carrying more. A high-achieving woman does not become more powerful by carrying more, by carrying everything. She becomes more powerful by knowing what is truly hers to hold. So, I want to leave you with a few questions. Where in your life or work have you been carrying something simply because you're able to carry it? Where has your competence invited unnecessary burden? Where have you mistaken stepping in for true leadership? And where might wisdom be asking you to become more selective with your energy, your time, and your problem-solving capacity? These are not small questions. They shape the quality of a woman's leadership, her well-being, and the kind of life her success is actually building. A great deal of my work is devoted to helping high-achieving women make this kind of shift. Not away from excellence, not away from responsibility, but away from patterns where competence becomes a reason to carry too much for too long. If you are a woman who has become very good at holding things together, but you know that the next chapter requires more discernment, stronger support, and less unnecessary burden, this conversation is for you. I'm Dr. Martha Greidick, and I'll be sharing more in this series for high-achieving women who are ready for a more supported, more strategic, and less costly path to success. You do not need to prove your value by carrying more than what you can carry. Sometimes the wiser move is not to hold more, it is to hold more wisely.